anyone that is arguing that we can have sex after the traditional wedding before the church, that means you don't rate the church wedding.
Exactly.
That means it means nothing, to you. That means for you it's just something just to tick off the box.
Hi everyone.
I'm T.
And this is Honey. Welcome back to our YouTube channel.
Yay. So what we're talking about today, we've tried to not talk about it, but people kept sending us, messages. The videos. People kept sending us the messages, and we said, you know what, let's just jump on it. You must have seen that viral video where your pastor was asked, the lady said they've done their traditional wedding. And
the guy wants to have sex before the white wedding. Yeah. And she's like, she wants to wait till their white wedding night.
Yes. So literally he was asking the pastor that, can they go ahead? Is it okay for them to have sex after the traditional wedding?
We just had our traditional marriage and my fiancé wants us to start having sex. And I refused. And he's angry. But our white wedding is still in view and I don't think it's proper. Because I'm a Christian.
You don't think it's proper to have sex
before our church wedding?
After your traditional wedding?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm sure you must have seen the video. So let's talk about it.
So number one point is, if you've waited this long, my guess is they've dated for nothing. They've been together for nothing less than 6 months. If you waited that long, why can't you wait just a few more weeks or how many months? And because white wedding is never even that far off from traditional wedding. Yeah. So what stops you from waiting? That's number one.
So if you've waited, you've kept yourself for that long, then why not just wait a little longer? Like literally, that's my first argument. If anybody comes to meet me and say, oh, can we have sex after our traditional wedding? I'm like, you've dated for a year, you've dated for 2 years. You waited, you've abstained. Why can't you just wait to the end? Like, I know your body's burning you and everything, which is why there's which is why there's just so much wisdom in putting your traditional wedding close to your white wedding. I know that it's mostly Yoruba culture that, they have traditional wedding like right after, like sometimes the same day, sometimes the next day. I think some other culture.
Or a week apart.
Yes, and most culture actually is a week apart. The few times that it's wide apart is in the case where the couples they don't have the financial capacity to handle both at the same time. And in most of the time, in those cases, after the traditional wedding, they move in together, they start living together. That's a whole different case, Let's move to the second point.
Second point is, if one person says the wedding is not final or is not done, then it's not. Because at the end of the day, it has to be consensual.
Yes. Two of you have to agree.
You have to agree.
Like the biggest thing in marriage is the agreement. Because if, to me, the marriage is not done, according to the video, the pastor said, is there anything like half married? Because there's no half, half sister. I get the logic. Yeah.
And then people's defense when they hear things like this is, in the Bible, it was just tradition. Like after traditional wedding, that is the end, blah, blah, blah. But what does traditional wedding even mean? It means, do you want to explain?
No, go ahead. You explain so well.
So I can't remember my explanation again.
Should I remind you?
So, yeah.
So what you said earlier is this. What makes the traditional wedding the Bible traditional was because that was their tradition.
That was their tradition.
It's not talking about...
It's not talking about tribe. I remember my explanation. It's not talking about tribe. Because what we attribute to traditional wedding now is,
the one that is your tribe, your
like
indigenous.
I'm Igbo. I've done my Igbo traditional, that tribal wedding. And like, that's the end. Yeah. Tradition means like... What our tradition now, what our wedding tradition is now is court wedding, traditional wedding, white wedding.
They are all part of our wedding tradition.
So that's part of our wedding tradition. So when people say things like this, I'm just like, I don't agree, because this is what I believe tradition means. Like this is what we do now. Yeah. This is the wedding. This is will I call it a sacrifice or wedding? Exactly, this is a package now. That's become our own tradition.
Let me just put in more context. I know some people are trying to ask from the doctrinal aspects, when is wedding recognized before God? The truth is, there's nothing, like there's no like literary record in the Bible of, okay, this is when wedding is or marriage is.
I think the track record in the Bible we see is agreements.
Yes,
as long as for families approve.
Yes, so there's the agreement between two parties. There's the presence and the blessing of their family. And also there's the sex part, of course. Sex is a major joining and union, but mostly it's the agreement between the two people, the blessing from the parents, and most of the time also there's a spiritual blessing, in it. And for us, what that means is it's the traditional wedding that we see the parents, the family come together and they, do the blessing and the journey. Most of the time, it even happens as early as introduction, but that's just, we know each other. We are not giving, you haven't paid the bride price and everything. Then I missed the part, there's a law. The Bible talks about recognizing and respecting the law of the land.
So that's where court marriage
comes in.
That's where court marriage comes in.
Court wedding, because before the government, before your country, so of course, God recognizes wedding, the legal part, recognizes the family aspect of it, the agreement part of it, and of course the agreement between the two of you. So all those things, they all form, like my wife said,
the tradition.
The white wedding is as much a tradition to us now, because it's a thing. Most of the time when people print wedding program, you see traditional wedding, then the union is part of the tradition. So don't see, a lot of times.
So the problem is the fact that we even try to separate it.
And most of the time, people that do that, they're looking for excuse to have sex.
Yeah.
And you've waited for this long. Just to wait to the end.
In my mind, I'm like, if you quarrel over something like that, and then God forbid it escalates, and then you have to postpone your wife's wedding and probably eventually break up, how will you even feel? You ask yourself, is it really worth it?
Is it worth it?
Because when I saw, I think it has stopped trending now. This particular, it has stopped trending. Because when I saw it, I was so furious. I'm like, at the end of the day, is this worth it? Why are we even having this conversation? Because if my husband at any point in time said, oh babe, of course we had our traditional white wedding the same day, but assuming we had this like a week apart from each other, and he comes and he's like, oh babe, I think we are good as married now. Or after our court wedding, because some people consider like after court wedding you can do whatever, because we're even both in Lagos at the time. I can imagine after the court wedding he goes, oh babe, let's just do this, let's just have sex, blah blah blah, and I tell him no. Then I start getting angry. And then he starts getting angry and all of that.
And I say, don't talk to me again.
And I'm like, we've waited for how long? Almost a year without...
It shows where your heart is.
Yeah, exactly. It shows where your heart is.
It shows where your heart is. It shows where your priority is.
And the mere fact that my partner is not on the same page with me, the fact that it makes her uncomfortable, because it is sex, like this is major. Yeah. And I wouldn't even want to partake in something like that if my partner is not... Like even in marriage, like if... Like one person is in the mood, the other person is not in the mood, or something is off with the other person. Another person is insisting, oh, let's do this.
Yeah, it has to be consensual.
Like I should be more concerned about the fact that my partner is not okay, my partner is not comfortable with this than wanting to do it. Yeah, right. It's very important. So I just feel like some conversation should not be had.
And of course, just to put a caveat that you both agree to have sex before marriage does not mean it is right. Not necessarily because
because they said there's only agreement.
And I think this last point, I believe, is the most important point, for me. And it's the mere fact that anyone that is arguing that we can have sex after the traditional wedding before the church, that means you don't rate the church wedding.
Exactly.
That means it means nothing to you. That means for you it's just something just to tick the box. Because you are going before God. You're saying your vows before God. There's your pastor or any spiritual leader that you respect praying over you. It owes something. It might not be your tradition. You might say, this is not our tradition. Our tradition, I'm from this tribe, I'm from this tribe.
Exactly.
But it means it's not significant. You just want to show face that God, because for us, this is the church part. This is this is our pastor, even if there's nobody there, it's just you, your pastor, and your family. It's the mere fact that this is joining before God. Like it should mean something. So if you're arguing or can have sex, that means no big deal. You want to say something? So
I can't remember that. Okay, I think I want to talk about traditional wedding. How that in Nigeria, I've attended weddings. I've had my own wedding. Yeah. My sister has had her own wedding. I've attended weddings as well, and I can say that traditional wedding mostly is even for family more than it is for the couple.
Yeah. Yes.
Because I realize that most couples are not even aware of everything that happens at traditional wedding. They just go and just obey whatever it is the other guy is doing or whatever.
Just drop money.
So my point here is I feel like white wedding even holds more,
because that's where you say vows. You don't say vows at the traditional
wedding.
It's more of just the family saying, okay, you've paid the bride, you've done the rites, now you have the right to take our child. But it's at the white wedding. We made a video on vows. You should watch it. That's where you say, you know what, I will hold you, I will cherish you, to death those parts, So
like it should mean something. So our own answer to it is no. Just do the entire thing.
Just do the entire thing.
Because it's a package that comes. It's one thing. You don't try to separate it.
Yeah.
Court wedding, traditional white wedding, it's a package. So take it as it is and stop trying to separate them and do what you ought not to do before your actual wedding nights.
If for whatever reason you can't afford the church wedding and all you can do is
your traditional
wedding,
have your pastor there.
Yes, that. Oh my God, God bless you, my wife. You took that out of my mind. I've seen traditional wedding where they bring their pastor after they're done with the normal traditional rites and everything. Then the pastor, you both kneel down. The pastor, prays over you and blesses the union. You're fine. Move into your house. There are no people that they don't do the white and everything till like years after. So that's fine. But between you have that agreement of this is not finished. There's still something we need to do. Like before that's it. You're done. The people that all they do is just the court wedding. They go to the court. They do the. Of course the family must have agreed, They go to the court, they join their hands, after the court wedding. They go to their pastor's office or something, their pastor prays and blessings them, and that's it, Of course, someone have the question, what do you do in the case where family does not agree? That's a whole video on itself.
That's a whole conversation on its own.
Which we're going to talk about hopefully soon. So, but we're just saying, like my wife said, take the whole experience, every single one of it, the court, the traditional, the joining, it counts as something, just wait. You've been holding body for this long. Come on, hold it all the way.
God is your strength.
God is your strength, So please send this video to anybody that wants to use this excuse to fornicate. Just wait.
Yeah. Wait on the... Wait. What's that song?
Yeah.
Wait on...
He will renew your strength.
Wait.
Anyways, remember to share this video with somebody, remember to subscribe, leave a comment, like,
and turn on your post notifications so you get notified whenever we post, when we drop a video. So see you
next
in the next video. Bye.